President Trump has been talking about the U.S. owning Greenland. So I just want to get that out. He spoke about it again yesterday. Madam Prime Minister, he said last night that, that the United States is in negotiations to take Greenland. You've said in the past that he should be taken seriously when he's talking about these things. Do you believe that President Trump still wants to own Greenland?
Unfortunately, I think the desire is the same. It's something we, of course, talk a lot about. And I would also add that I think the pressure on Greenland is totally unacceptable. We are talking about threats, but as you often say, Jens Frederiksen, the people of Greenland have never been threatened before by anyone. So I think the pressure is unacceptable. It's not the typical venue to see, I mean, to see so many people on Arctic security as today, but we are glad to see the interest. Well, let's focus on the substance when it comes to security in the Arctic region. It is, of course, extremely important. We are very satisfied that NATO is now into working with security in the Arctic region in a more structured way. We have, by the way, asked for this for several years, but as you know, there's been this idea about low tension. It sounds very nice on a paper, but it doesn't reflect reality and the world that we are living in, unfortunately. So what we have suggested NATO is to be permanent present in the Arctic region, also in and around Greenland. Now we have Arctic Sentry as a framework. We have to put substance into it. The good thing about Arctic Sentry is that it's a flexible way of working, so it can be changed, it can be moved, it can be on a high level, it can be on a lower level, so it can, I mean, reply to the challenges that we see. If we come, I mean, when I look at NATO, I see we have, of course, an eastern flank. We have everybody knows about that. By the way, nowadays, today, that's the most important one. It's where most of our capabilities should be used for. We have a southern flank, counterterrorism, and probably one day we will see that somebody tries, Russia, of course, to use migrants from the southern part of NATO, as we have seen in Belarus and in Finland. We have a new flank when it comes to AI, space, quantum physics, but we also have a northern flank. It's not where we have the most challenges today, and the Arctic region is enormous, and we have more issues in other parts of the Arctic region than we have around Greenland. Also important to say, but the world is changing, and so is the weather because of climate change. So at some point, we really have to be aware about what Russia and China will do around Greenland, but we are not there yet. But it's good to be, I mean, before things happen. So for us, Arctic Sentry is a very, very good thing. Let me just finalize this by saying we have to have the Arctic region reflected in our capability targets. Allow me to be a bit technical, but the capability targets we are seeing in NATO today does not reflect the high north and the Arctic region. And if we can change this, my suggestion would be to have industrial targets afterwards, because many of the capabilities we need in the Arctic region haven't been produced yet. Some of them has to be produced in the US, and the production lines are not really replying to the needs we have. The same goes for Europe. So I hope this answers some of your questions. If you are interested in the more political part of this, I'll come back to that.
We will definitely get to the political side of it. We also want to just take a moment. The Prime Minister mentioned Greenland as being obviously a big part of Arctic security. Mr. Prime Minister, can you walk us through, give us a little sense of the view from Greenland?
Yeah, of course. First of all, I will be a bit more political, I think, in my start, because Greenland has been a center of attention for quite a long time now. And this topic has been filling the media. And from a Greenlandic perspective, we have been living in our region in peace and in low tension for many years. But we have also recognized in Greenland that I don't think there is any low tension areas in the world anymore, and we need to be a part of building up capabilities and taking our share in surveillance and in security in our region. And that's why I'm perfectly aligned, and we work really close together in terms of security in our area. And we are also very happy to have the NATO Arctic Sentry in Greenland. I think it's a step in a really good direction. But I will also mention, as Mette mentioned, that talks about Russian and Chinese ships around our region in Greenland. It's not now, but we are not naive, and we see the longer perspective. When our routes in the northwest and the northeast they melt, there might be more traffic. But what we are aligned on, and the most important thing is that we will do more, and we are willing to lift our responsibility in Greenland to make that happen with our allies in the NATO alliance. And it's very important for me to say that the Arctic Sentry and the NATO alliance is something that we are truly committed on as Greenlanders. So transatlantic cooperation and international rule of law and so on, that's deeply in our values.
President Trump has been talking about the U.S. owning Greenland. So I just want to get that out. He spoke about it again yesterday. Madam Prime Minister, he said last night that the United States is in negotiations to take Greenland. You've said in the past that he should be taken seriously when he's talking about these things. Do you believe that President Trump still wants to own Greenland?
Unfortunately, I think the desire is the same. It's something we, of course, talk a lot about. And I would also add that I think the pressure on Greenland is totally unacceptable. We are talking about threats, but as you often say, Jens Frederiksen, the people of Greenland have never been threatened before by anyone. So I think the pressure is unacceptable. I think we have been very clear from Greenland and Denmark, and by the way, from all of our allies, Canada and Europe and good friends in the US, that there are, of course, things that you cannot compromise on. Our basic values, the cornerstone, I mean, of our democracy is, of course, the respect of other states' sovereignty and territorial integrity, and, by the way, a people's right for self-determination. There's a very proud people living in Greenland. So there are things that we cannot compromise on, and that, by the way, we will not compromise on. But there are other things we can do together, and we have already been talking a lot about it. We have as many of you probably know, a defense agreement, the Kingdom of Denmark and US. We have had it since 1951. It gives a very, it's very easy for US to have a stronger footprint in Greenland. At some stage they had 17 bases and 10,000 soldiers. Now there's one base and 200, 230, 40 something people there. And I mean, we have always been a very reliable, strong partner for US. So if it's a question about home defense, if it's a question about common security, we will always like to work together with the US. So that is possible, but no. Everybody asks us, do we think it's over? No, we don't think it's over. We now have a working group. It's good. We will try to see if we can find a solution, and you can rely on us. You can trust us. We will do whatever we can. But of course, there are red lines that will not be crossed. and we will stick to our strategy.
Mr. Prime Minister?
Yeah, thanks. And I just want to add that I don't think it's an elephant in the room anymore. He's pretty transparent and has been for 14 months. And the pressure on the Greenlandic people, if I think about my people, we are so proud. We live in a harsh environment. We are resilient. We live in a land where nobody were able to live for many, many, many years. There's a reason why we are the ones left. And still, and there's a reason why it's us that has built that society up for many years. It's not an elephant in the room. But I also want to say, and I think this is very, very important, the pressure on us is unacceptable. We all know the story, but I don't think it's only about us. This is not only about Greenland. Imagine a NATO country acquiring, taking, threatening an ally. Where would the world stand if that happened? We would be a puzzle. We would be a puzzle in a big game. And what would prevent those, America, if they did that, USA and Russia and China, to split up the world in 3 big blocks if this was allowed? It's outrageous. And I don't think we can lower shoulders either. I think we have taken some steps in the right direction. Dialogue, respectful and dialogue in a working group, so we don't communicate through the media, where we wake up to threats every morning and so what? Outrageous. But now we are speaking together more directly through the right channels. And now we have and I also want to state from the get-go, Mette said it a bit, in terms of the threats in our region and the threats from Russia and China, the paradox is the Greenlandic people has never felt threatened, and first time they felt unsafe for real when was an ally talked about acquiring them, buying them and so on. It's outrageous. But we are taking steps in the right direction, I think. I think the NATO Arctic insurance Sentry is good, and I think the exercises in Arctic endurance were a step in the right direction too. And we all agree on we need to do more in our region in terms of security, and we have never disagreed on it. We also have a defense agreement from 1951 that's very good for both parties, right? If the argument is that there's not enough security, so yeah, that's where we stand. I needed to take that out. Thank you.
Just quickly, are you? Like I said, we love the applause. Keep them coming. Just really quickly, do you feel confident that the negotiations actually can lead to an agreement, or is President Trump so set on owning Greenland or parts of Greenland? Do you have any indication?
As I said, I think we need to take the right steps. And I think the first right step is to have a dialogue between us. But as I also said, we cannot lower our shoulders. Look, the desire to control or to have Greenland is there, but I think we are taking the right steps, both in terms of our dialogue, but also in terms of the big issue for them, the security. National security, international security. It has many names now because it's been mentioned so much, but I think we are aligned on that one. And I think we have to take those discussions. And there's been very good steps in the right direction in the NATO frame that we are happy for, because we are committed to be a part of the alliance that has kept the world somewhat safe in terms of NATO countries since the Second World War.